What is happening, everybody? My name is Beth, and welcome back to Every Day is Spooktober. Right. I don't even know how we're going to start this video, but I've been let down and disappointed again, guys. So I watched The Menu, okay, and I never watched it in the cinema. Once again, this is, like I say, it's becoming a recurring thing. I need to just change the title of this channel to I forgot to go to the cinema, or I didn't go to the cinema, I watched it on streaming platform. It's on Disney Plus in the UK, and I've been dying to see what the rave is about, because people have been talking about it and it's got good reviews. I'm so glad I did not go and watch this in the freaking cinema, because what a fat waste of my time this would have been. Bearing in mind, I have literally just watched this, so it's very fresh in my head right now, and maybe my mind will change, or I don't know, whatever in the future about this film, but the title of this video literally should be I watched The Menu and it sucked. I am so disappointed. So disappointed. The films that I always think I'm gonna love end up being shit, and all the films that I think look tend to be better, which just doesn't make any sense to me. Let's just talk about The Menu. I have a lot to say, so many thoughts, so many questions. Obviously, we all knew like the faces of this film. We have Anya Taylor-Joy, we have Nicholas Hoult, and we have Ralph Fiennes, who obviously is the Voldemort, once and for all, amazing Voldemort from Harry Potter. You know, these are all very well-known faces, alongside a lot of other very well-known faces that are in this film. But our three main characters, they're well-known actors. They've been in so many films and TVs, shows and whatever. They've got good reputations. They're great actors. All of them are great actors. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to watch this film. I thought, I love Nicholas Hoult. I think he's a super fun actor, and he always brings his like fun comedic side to his roles that he does. Anya Taylor-Joy has been popping off recently. I just finished watching The Queen's Gambit with her, and it was phenomenal. I absolutely loved The Queen's Gambit. I was going to review that on this channel, but it's not exactly horror, and I mean, check out my IMDb and maybe I'll post a review on that. She's an actor that I think is very successful and knows what she's doing. And don't get me wrong, I don't think any of them flopped in the film. I genuinely don't think that the issue I had with this film was them at all, because it wasn't. I thought Nicholas Hoult brought so much comedy, and he was quite comedic without trying to be comedic at certain points in the film, and I love that. I think he performed very well. He played a character that was very different and out there, and nothing I've seen him do before, so I really enjoyed that. I thought Anya Taylor-Joy, she played a sort of fun, mysterious woman. I think she performed well and, did her thing, and she looked gorgeous as always. And then with Ralph as the chef, he was so good. He played a believable chef. He was giving me Gordon Ramsay vibes. Like he made a believable working chef in charge of a top-notch kitchen that has to be perfect. They all made this believable. The issue that I have with this film is the story is just not there. I'm so disappointed with this film. I've just literally finished watching it, so the first thing that I have to say is, like, the first half of this film, I was so bored. I was debating turning it off, because I was like, this isn't what I expected. This wasn't what I thought the film was going to be. It's going to be one of those films that gets interesting like 5 minutes before the end. And there was just it felt like there was a lot of filler. There was so much talking, and I know it's supposed to be like the lead up to sort of the chaos, which obviously you need when you're writing a story, when you're creating a story, you need that arc of those events. But it just seemed to go on for flipping ages, and I'm like, so when's something gonna happen? And obviously that's the point, is you're waiting for something crazy to happen, or someone to say something crazy, or for whatever it may be. But like, I just felt like I was waiting for about 6 months, like sat there like, so what's going on here then? I think I had an issue with the first half. I had an issue with the first half, mainly as well, because like I don't know who we're focusing on here. Like, is our main focus meant to be the menu and the chefs and the kitchen and the experience? Is that the main focus here, or is the main focus Tyler and Margot? Like, are they, like, obviously they're our central characters? Are we focusing on them, and then are we focusing on all these other side characters, all the other characters that were involved in the experience? Are we meant to be focusing on them? like I think that's what threw me, is it wasn't really clear, because if the story was based around Margot and Tyler, we didn't get that much backstory information about them. I honestly would have appreciated some kind of flashback or some kind of, you know, link to the past in some way. Their relationship, you know, them as characters, there was so much missing, and I expected firsthand for obviously this film to be about, you know, this experience through their eyes. It's an experience through everyone's eyes, as well, mainly Margot's, but it's just so, I'm just so confused as to what we needed to focus on. And I think for the first half I was very lost, because I was thinking, like, I was trying to concentrate on what was going on, what was being said, what's happening, and it just seemed to go on for a while. They're like trying all these foods, uh, like there just wasn't much going on. Obviously then it starts to get really weird, and then that the one of the chefs like shoots himself in the head, and then it starts to obviously turn crazy. One guy gets his finger chopped off, you know, and it like starts to build up a bit. So, and I admit it starts to get interesting. We're starting to move, we're starting to see some like cool shit. The first half, it was like a snooze fest. I'd say like the middle act was like, what the actual hell is going on and what's the point of all this? And then the ending was like, oh, okay. If you want me to describe the film in 3 parts, that's probably what I would say. It didn't live up to the hype. It didn't live up to what people were saying, like, in my opinion anyway. I'm thoroughly upset. I had a completely different idea as to what this was going to be, and I remember when it first came out, before I'd seen it, everyone I know would constantly saying that, like, the big sort of hype around it was that this is supposed to be a horror, but it's actually a comedy. And like I had in my head, I was like, right, so we're walking to a comedy. I'm not gonna lie to you, it wasn't that funny to me. Like, okay, maybe there were a few one-liners or like weird things that was a bit of like a giggle, but like there was nothing that I wasn't laughing throughout the film at all. Um, I think you could argue this is a black comedy because, yeah, but it's not. It's it wasn't a horror. It was more like Ready or Not, you know, Cabin in the Woods, where like you're stuck in a situation and you need to get out of it. There were no horror aspects. There was just, it was a thriller more than anything, I think. And yeah, I think that's why I just didn't like it, is because we've seen this premise before where you've got people just sort of stuck in this place and they're trying to escape and they can't. Like I was saying with Ready or Not, with Cabin in the Woods, it's a similar premise, and the only different or cool thing about this one is that it involves food, and the food is really fancy and it's really cool to look at. It's artistic. Don't get me wrong, that part of it is really fucking cool. The visuals are amazing, and the idea and sort of execution of the meals that they give them is really cool, and the sort of metaphorical links that each sort of course has is interesting. But if I'm quite honest with you, I don't really care. And I think that was the issue, is this film, like, this film needs to make you care about what we're seeing, about what's going on. And like, I barely know the main characters, you know, I barely know Margot, you know, apart from that, like, I didn't even know this until after the film. Maybe I missed it, but I read a review after I watched the film, and apparently Margot's a prostitute. And obviously she's not, her real name isn't Margot, but apparently she's a prostitute in like you know, in her real life. I was like, mate, I didn't freaking know that. That's weird. I didn't realize that at all. It, like, there was a lot of things that weren't clear, and this just failed to like suck you in. Like, maybe obviously the like real foodies out there who love their cooking and creativity, maybe this was a treat for them, and it really, sucked that audience in. But for me, as someone who, like, it's cool to look at, but I'm not ready to sit through like a 2 hour film just handing out courses and meals. Like, I don't particularly care. And it didn't make me care, and it didn't make me want to see the food, or I don't know, it felt like a cross between like Hell's Kitchen and like some like creative bougie restaurant, like mixed with Ready or Not and Cabin in the Woods. Maybe when I digest this a bit more, maybe it'll like settle in a bit, but I genuinely don't understand what the hype of this film is about. I didn't think it was good, in terms of story, in terms of plot points, in terms of just yeah. In terms of the story just lacked. The story wasn't there. The story needs to be improved, in my opinion. Acting was cool. The premise was interesting. I think it was quite predictable as well what was going to happen about halfway through. We knew that Margot was going to live, and she was probably going to be the only survivor. She was going to figure it out, and obviously they're on a island where there's a boat that takes them there. They're obviously going to get stuck there, and they're most likely going to die. A lot of things set it up to be quite obvious, and I think the twist where we find out that Tyler's brought Margot, and Margot's his girlfriend, when that's not actually the case. He just really wanted to go, and his ex broke up with him, so he had to find a replacement. I thought that was like kind of comedic, I guess, because he just doesn't care, like he just wants to go, which is fair enough. But yeah, deeply disappointed, guys, really disappointed. I know some people are gonna have opinions against about what I've just said, but this has got 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb, and that's a decent score, and for me that's not what it deserves at all. I'd probably give this like a 5 out of 10 maybe. That could change over time, I don't know, but from just a first watch and just now sitting down talking about it, that's what I thought about it, and that's just how I processed it. It's really unfortunate because I was hoping it'd be like a fun, like Ready or Not type of vibe film, but it was sort of a difficult watch for me because I was struggling to stay connected to what we were seeing. So yeah, that is my thoughts on The Menu. Please let me know if anyone agrees with me. Like, were you guys disappointed? Did you guys think it lacked certain things? Was there anything missing for you that I haven't mentioned? I would generally just like to know what people think, what people thought. And it's a shame. It's a real shame. It had some potential, story just lacked massively. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next one.